Hello everyone, welcome to another live stream. So hope you guys are doing well. Again, at the beginning of the live stream, I just want to give you a suggestion of taking advantage of the comment section. So I have it open here on my right. Hello Meg, what's up? How are you doing? So if you have any questions or any chart requests or anything that you want to go through, you need help with, you can obviously put it in the chat and I basically go through every single question. So for today, it is Thursday. And first, I'm going to give a general kind of a fundamental picture that what I'm looking at. And we're going to take a look at the calendar as well. So on Forex Factory, it's very important to stay up to date to on news events because that is when the volatility spikes happen and that is when you can expect some trends to happen in the markets. So on the 20th of January, we do have Trump coming into office, right? So a lot of the markets are pretty flat. I mean, euro and US dollar is one of the biggest, I would say, currencies, if not the biggest currency pair in the world. And you can see we're a bit flat, we're a bit indecisive right here. We're not really moving anywhere. So the euro and the US dollar is pausing. Then you have the S&P 500. We can take a look at the daily chart. That's going to be a bit better. So actually the euro US dollar is dropping down, but the S&P 500 is being pretty indecisive in this area, right? A little bit indecisive, doesn't know where it wants to go. And gold is a similar story. Gold is kind of stuck in this flat range on the daily chart. So pretty flat, pretty corrective in this general area. And we can take a look at Bitcoin as well. See, Bitcoin is pretty flat as well. And we know Trump has been pretty vocal about his policies on cryptocurrencies and his, I would say he had a bullish stance when he was basically running. So the time running up to the elections, he was pretty bullish on crypto. But everything is pausing a little bit. We can take a look at the DXY as well, which is going up. So that is moving. But most of like the stock market and the risk on assets are pretty much flat. So what does this mean? This means that a lot of people are waiting for the 20th of January to see the Trump's stance on basically the economy and the tariffs that he will implement and things that he will implement on, you could say, day one. Will it be bullish? Will it be bearish? Will he focus on like the Department of Government Efficiency with Musk, or will he focus on just pumping up the stock market and just building up the economy as much as he can? We will see. Until the 20th, I do believe you're going to see some flat markets. Okay, so it's not going to be a surprise if we get some more flat markets. So that's the bigger story. That's the bigger picture. We can also take a look at the calendar. So the news calendar. Let me just open that up. So if we go to my browser, Forex calendar. Let me stop sharing the trading view thing. Present, share. So present, share. Here it is. So this is something that I pay a lot of attention to as well. It is the economic calendar. And today, that is this week, right? So this week we had CPI, we had PPI and CPI. That's pretty important news. You can see we came in a bit lower than expected, but still, so pretty volatile news right there. And then if you want to check out the next week, this is my filter, by the way. So I focus on the dollar news right now and just the red high impact news. If we go to the next week, you will see we have unemployment claims, okay? But after that, we do have a big one, which is the federal funds rate. So the Fed is meeting on the 29th of January. It's going to be Wednesday, and it's going to be around, I think it's going to be 7 p.m. London time, 8 p.m. my time. And that is a pretty volatile move. So we first have, it's kind of a double event. You have the federal funds rate, and then you have the FOMC press conference, which moves the markets even more than the federal funds rate. Okay, this thing can be pretty volatile, the FOMC press conference. And that is when the Fed actually decides if they want to raise the rates, keep the rates the same, or basically lower the rates. And that impacts the US dollar a lot, right? So now we're going to get to the charts. This is the DXY. Let's first start with the dollar analysis. What does this chart tell us? If you guys don't know, well, basically on TradingView, you can search up DXY, US dollar index, and this measures the strength, overall strength of the US dollar compared to, let's say, other assets. And Traveler, hey, what's up? I think that's Baxter. How do you display the weekly option? I guess you're wondering about the, I guess you're talking about the Forex calendar. Let me check. I'm not sure. When I go to Forex Factory and then go to calendar, I have the weekly option saved. So I'm not sure how I did it, but yeah, just dig in a little bit and you will. You found it. Okay, awesome, great. So yeah, the DXY, this thing is going up. That means the dollar is gaining strength. This is the daily chart, mind you. And if this is going up, you can bet that Euro US dollar, Aussie US dollar, and the pound and the US dollar will be going down. That is the relationship, okay? That is the relationship between our currency pairs and the dollar. So because this thing is in a big uptrend, I do have a bullish bias on the US dollar. There's a definite trend line here that has been respected, like 1, 2. See this trend line? Like 1, 2, 3, I would say 4, 5, 6. And we're just trucking to the upside. So I would not be surprised if this just continues going up like this, okay? One thing to note though, since it is going to be a new year, we're going to have a new president in the United States. Trump wants to keep the dollar lower. So Trump would like to see something like this because that's better for the imports exports. That's better for the US economy in his opinion, and that is better for the stock market, I believe, as well. So he wants to keep the rates low. He wants to keep the dollar low as well, so that it is attractive for foreign investment, right? He wants to keep the states attractive for foreign investment. So in this new year, in 2025, you could see the rates going down, and you could see the interest rate going down, and you could see the strength of the dollar actually going down. That is what Trump would like to see. And last mandate, when he was president the last time, pretty much he had a big impact, I would say, on the interest rate, or at least a bit of an impact, because he wanted the rates to be lower. And then the Fed actually did start cutting rates. And I do believe they did listen to Mr. Trump. So anyway, for now, what is kind of the conclusion? So for now, I do expect we're going to continue going up. But once Trump gets into office, once things heat up, things get going, maybe somewhere in February, March, when we get more Fed press conferences, then you could see the market going down or the dollar going down. So you could see like somewhere here that dollar starts reversing down, maybe February, March, something like that. That would be my general prediction. A general prediction for the US dollar. What does that mean for, let's say, the euro and the US dollar? Well, that means the euro could keep losing strength for a couple of weeks or months, and then a reversal where the euro starts gaining strength on the daily. What does this mean for us as trend traders on the 1 hour chart? It means volatility, it means trends, and it means more trade opportunities. So we like it. It's good for us. And yeah, pretty exciting times ahead. Pretty exciting times. Traveler asks, is this in favor for crypto? Well, yeah, you could say so. You could say so because Bitcoin usually follows stocks like the Nasdaq, like tech stocks. So Bitcoin usually follows the Nasdaq, and Trump wants to keep the stock market going up, and apparently he does like cryptocurrencies as well. So Trump in office is for now pretty bullish for crypto. Okay, for now it's pretty bullish for crypto, and you could say that it is in favor of crypto. Bitcoin is kind of hovering around break even or around 100K here, just doesn't know where it wants to go. It's pausing a little bit, waiting to see what will happen with the Nasdaq, waiting to see what will happen with Trump and his new policies. Okay, we have some more questions. The High Elf, pozdrav brate, šta misliš o GBP Aussie i GBP CAD buy? So let's take a look at the pound Aussie and let's take a look at the pound CAD. Okay. Pound Aussie. We're going to start with the daily chart. First with the pound Aussie. And overall, I would say this is pretty flat. Pretty flat in this area. I'm not seeing a lot of potential right here on this daily chart, but I execute all of my positions. I execute on the translation. So the High Elf wants me to analyze the pound Aussie and the pound CAD for a buy signal. Okay. Let's see. So I guess you're betting on the strength of the pound. What I do is I execute setups on the 1 hour. And on the 1 hour chart, well, it's not looking that bad. We are printing this descending channel, which is pretty high probability for the price to actually go up. Okay. So a pattern that I observe a lot on the 1 hour chart, and the pattern that I like to trade, is a descending channel and then a large impulse up, and then I get in on a buy setup right here. Okay, I get in on a buy setup right here. So we kind of have this first part. So we have this descending channel, right? We can spot it, the descending channel, but I would still need a big leg up. So we didn't get the big leg up yet. What I would do is I would wait a bit more. If I was looking for a buy setup, I would wait for that big push up, and then I would get in on a buy setup. That would be my general game plan. So one key component, in my personal opinion, is missing, and that would be the big push to the upside. So we are starting to become a little bit bullish, but I'm still not fully bullish. I would still need to see that large impulse up as evidence of a bullish market. So that is it for the pound Aussie. Now for pound CAD. So GBP CAD. And the data. Let's go to the daily chart first. The daily chart is really bearish, in my opinion. Yes, overall, you could say it's flat, but I'm kind of zooming in on this big leg. And this is pretty bearish. This right here is a pretty strong bearish leg. So zooming in, if we zoom in on the 1 hour, where I actually focus all of my entries. So every single entry that I take in the markets, I just look at the 1 hour chart. I may look at the daily just to get a general picture of what is happening, but for all of the trading decisions and for live streams, I look at the daily chart. But for all of my decisions, I basically go to the 1 hour. And the 1 hour is flat right here, super flat, super indecisive. So I wouldn't be in a buy setup. I mean, in my personal opinion, the pound CAD is bearish. It's not bullish. I'm not seeing any bullish signs. Like the daily chart, just the technicals are super bearish. So there is a lot of selling pressure. and I expect that selling pressure to continue. I think you maybe were looking at trading a little bit of support. So we have a support level right here, which you could expect the price to bounce off of, right? This little bit of support rectangle. You could expect a bounce to happen right here. But I first do not trade support and resistance. I don't rely on it that much. I'm more of a momentum trader. So I look at the price action and I look for momentum. I look for momentum setups. And momentum here is very bearish. Very, very bearish momentum. 1 hour, as I said, we have a big drop. So price is just dropping. And this is kind of a pause. This is kind of a pause, possibly a pullback. And then we may continue lower. I would say the probabilities tell me that this thing is gonna go down. Now, that doesn't mean you should change your plan. That doesn't mean if you're in a buy setup that you should exit that trade, because I said I would look for sell setups here. It just means that is my opinion, okay? So you must follow your own plan. You must rely on your own data. So if you did your research, if you did your homework, if you did your due diligence, if you did the back testing, then you need to stick to it and you need to follow your strategy. Of course, if you want to learn exactly how we trade, learn our approach, you can join our free Discord at zentumtrading.com. That will pretty much get you started. And if you like what you see, then you can join the paid members area where we basically teach you to go from zero to consistently profitable. So definitely check it out if you want. The FX preacher, I believe that the monthly time frame tells when the dollar will reverse. Let's take a look at the monthly chart on the DXY. 1 month. Well, yeah, you could draw some levels for sure. You could draw some like support and resistance levels. Although I don't really rely on support and resistance, I like momentum much more than support and resistance. But you could say this is a level of resistance, and this would be a level of support down here. So you could say when the dollar strength reaches this level, it's gonna bounce, or when it reaches this level, it's gonna bounce. But again, nothing is guaranteed. And I would focus more on the actual momentum. And the momentum right here, what I'm seeing is pretty bullish. I'm seeing a lot of buying. I'm seeing the dollar just continuing to go up. Selling pressure, am I seeing any large selling pressure? Personally, no. I'm not seeing a lot of selling pressure. So I'm pretty bullish on the dollar index right now, okay? Anyway, so getting back to our regular program. So these are the 6 currency pairs that I actually trade live. Okay, these 6 ones. On the 1 hour chart. So let's start with the euro and US dollar. I'm gonna do the daily chart first. And the daily chart, well, we are continuing to drop lower. We are definitely continuing to drop lower. So the daily is bearish. As I said, the dollar is gaining strength. So compare this. If this goes up, this is going to go down pretty much. But the 1 hour is where it's at for me. And the 1 hour is pretty flat, pretty corrective. Some of the setups that I was personally looking at in the past week was like an internal reversal trade right here. I didn't take it. It didn't fully fit the plan, but an internal reversal is a pattern where you get the price to ascend. That means it's going to reverse soon, and then you get the final fake out. You get a final fake out, and then you get a big red candle, and then you sell. So you sell right here, and then you aim for, let's say, a 2-to-1 risk to reward. And that is what you got right here. So you have the ascending channel. The ascending channel was pretty clean. I liked this pattern of the ascending channel. You have the push up and you have the shift in momentum. You have the red candle. So what you could have done is entered on a sell setup like this, and it would be pretty much a winning setup. It would be a winning trade. I personally did not like it enough. What was the reason? Well, the reason was that this push up, or this kind of final fake out, you could say, was not that big. So I would have liked to see a bigger fake out to the upside than this one. This was not that large. So yeah, currently, as I said, most of the dollar pairs are being pretty flat, pretty corrective, not doing much. So I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for the 20th of January. When is it? It's actually on Monday next week. We just have kind of one trading day. We have only tomorrow. Today I don't think we will get much in terms of price action, but tomorrow we have Friday, and then it's gonna be Monday next week. So on Tuesday you could expect some trends to start happening. You could expect some momentum to kick in the markets. And that is exactly what I'm waiting for. So the euro and the US dollar is not really going to be on the watch list right now. Next one is going to be the euro and the Japanese yen. So let's break down some JPY pairs, some Japanese pairs. And on the daily chart, this is looking pretty flat. This is pretty flat and range bound. Not the best. This is not the best market condition to be looking for trades. Again, the market condition that you want to see is this one, where the market is really trending, or even this one is pretty good right here on the top, market just grinding up. This is not really the best story, but still, let's zoom in, because there were a couple of setups that were on my radar and that I was looking at. So EJ, I was looking. Well, we were dropping pretty heavily here. So this was a pretty nice downtrend. I was looking for sell setups. Nothing really came out of that. We kind of retraced. So yeah, nothing much came out of that. Then we started ascending a little bit. Again, an ascending is a bearish pattern, but you would need to see the confirmation. You would need to see the big red candle. That didn't happen. I know some traders from Zentum were looking for a sell setup, which we call a reversal. We call it a reversal trade right here. What is a reversal trade? Well, it is a pattern. We trade patterns, and it consists of, I would say, two parts. So first you get an ascending channel like this, and then you get a impulse down, right? So you get the ascending, and then you get a drop down, and then you basically get in on a sell limit setup like this, and that's your trade. And in a lot of cases, you will get the price just dropping down. It'll be a nice, strong downtrend, and then you will be able to look for some sell setups. Here, yes, we did get that ascending. Price was breaking the highs correctively. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 breaks of the highs. So the ascending was there, but we never got a strong breakdown. The first part was there, but the second part, the strong breakdown, the big drop, did not happen, unfortunately. So the big drop did not happen. Instead, we had this sort of a tiny break of the lows, just pretty small candles, not the best. If someone did take this one, I do think it would be a winning trade. Let's see, if you used, I don't know, a 20 pip stop loss. No, it would never tag the level, but that's okay. After that, I was looking for a sell setup a bit lower. Here, I was looking for a sell setup, either a flag or a break and retest. So we had a nice strong drop to the downside, but then we just broke the low and retraced. And here there was a pretty nice flag plus formation. So flag plus formation is another entry pattern that we trade. What did I like? I liked that we were moving down. So I liked this downtrend. It was pretty strong. I saw some nice selling pressure. So it definitely fit my plan to get in on a sell setup. And also in the par price action, we had this ascending channel right here. And what we just mentioned, so a couple of seconds ago, we mentioned that an ascending channel is a bearish pattern. So you expect this to happen. You expect a drop to happen. So I was looking for sell setups. Here is the flag plus. What is a flag plus? Well, basically, it consists of a couple of parts. I'm going to break it down. Impulse, large drop, you have it here. We can take a look at it in the opposite direction, but it's the same thing. So you have a big drop. You have an inside bar. That means, look at this candle. The high is lower than this high. The low is higher than this low. So this candle is inside of this one. You have an outside bar. So this candle is the high is higher than this high. The low is lower than this low. That means it is outside of this small candle. So if I had to draw it, this is your impulse. This is the inside bar. It's inside of the previous candle, and this is the outside bar, which is outside of this small candle. And then you look for a red candle to entry. You look for to enter. You look for a bearish candle. We have it. Get in. You could use, I think 25 pips would be good here. 250. Yeah, 250 would seem pretty good in this area. So just a small side note, most of 2024 I was actually trading a fixed stop loss. So I had a fixed stop loss written down for every single currency pair. I think I used 10 pips for, let's say, the euro and the US dollar. I used 15 pips for the euro Japanese yen, and I used, I think, 20 pips for the pound US dollar. That's just an example. But in this new year and in the last couple of months of 2024, I decided to have a variable stop loss size. What does that mean? Well, when I take a trade, or before taking a trade, I will gauge the overall volatility. I'll see how the overall volatility is, how big the candles are, and then I'll make a choice of a stop loss that looks good for that particular volatility. Some of the general rules is I focus on the last, let's say, 3 to 5 days of price action. So I focus on right here, what you can see on the screen. And if I took this trade and I used, I don't know, let's say a 15 pip stop loss, it looks far too small. It looks far too small, and that would be pretty problematic. It would most likely take me out before moving down. But because of my new rule, I would probably use like a 25 pip stop loss, which looks a bit better. 25. So it gives our trade a little bit of a breathing room, right? It gives the trade a little bit of room to breathe. And that is why I like this new approach. So if I did take this, I would use 25 pips. I didn't take this though. What was the reason? The wick. So this final part of the impulse I didn't like. That wick was not really for me because of the wick. If I see a wick, so if I see a downtrend, which we do have right here, we have the downtrend, and if I see a wick on the end, I would prefer then to see a little bit of a range, and then a flag. Okay, so then I would maybe take it. But because there was no range, it was just a super quick, super tight flag, then I did decide to stay out. Usually these formations are very high probability. They do work out pretty well. They have a pretty high win rate. But this one was not it just did not fit the plan. Okay, for anyone that did take this trade, I do believe it would be a nice winner. Yeah, so it would drop and you would currently be in some very nice profits, maybe around like 3.5%, something like that. Is it on the watch list? Is EJ on the watch list? Not anymore. It was on the watch list like in the morning because we were in a downtrend. But now there's a lot of buying pressure here, then a drop, then a bit more buying pressure. We're just kind of ranging around. We're just kind of being flat. So we're not doing much on the euro and the Japanese yen. We're being pretty flat in this area. What I would like to see, what I think is high probability to see on the euro and the Japanese yen is I think that it is very likely for us to see another drop, right? Like this. And I would like to see that. So if we get another drop, I'll look for sell setups because overall we are in a downtrend. And that is definitely going to fit the plan. Aussie US dollar. Well, not much to say. In terms of price action, nothing was that interesting. Let me check out what this is. So, okay, so this is NFP. Anyway, so nothing was really that interesting on the Aussie and the US dollar. Let's get back to it. And we're pretty flat, so it looks the same as the euro and the US dollar. It is not on my watch list. I'm just looking for further movement. I'm looking for momentum up. So I'm looking for momentum up or momentum down like this. And moving on from that, Aussie and the Japanese yen. Yeah, it was pretty corrective. It's still pretty corrective. We kind of have this descending channel going into an ascending channel here, and then into another descending channel. So that is a range bound pattern. That's a range bound pattern, and it is not something that I want to be involved in. It makes me be a bit more patient. So AJ, not the best, not looking the greatest. I do expect we're going to be ranging around a bit more on the Aussie and the Japanese yen. I do expect this to happen. Okay. That is my general forecast on AJ. EJ looks better. If you compare it, like EJ is better. It's in a downtrend. AJ is just sort of flat, just sort of doing nothing. Pound US dollar. Pound US dollar was, let's remove the drawings. Pound US dollar was pretty flat, or not flat, it was just dropping out of the sky. It was super bearish. Like if we start with the daily chart, look at this drop. Massive sell-off. Massive sell-off for the pound and US dollar. And I just want to remind you guys, so if you have any sort of questions, any chart requests, put them in the chat. Because I will soon be finishing my 6 currency pairs, so we can go over some chart requests. Pound US dollar dropping out of the sky, very, very bearish. Zooming in the 1 hour. The 1 hour chart. Let's take a look at these news. The news, we had GDP, inflation rate, okay. But it wasn't really market moving. None of that was really market moving if you take a look. So we were looking pretty great at, let's say, this point for some potential sell setups. This was looking very bearish. We were just dropping down with a lot of selling pressure. See? A lot of selling pressure. But now the most recent price action is flat. Pretty flat, pretty undecisive. This is not something that I can trade. This is not something that I can extract percentage from, okay? This is something that tells me that I need to be patient. You may ask, what is the reason? Why is the pound and the US dollar being so flat right now? And a big explanation would be Trump basically coming into office soon. Okay, so it's a big event. It's a big, it's basically a big event that's on everyone's mind. A lot of people are waiting on the sidelines until they see what will happen. Which kind of policies will Trump implement on day one? Will he be bullish on the stocks? Will he be bearish on the dollar? Will he basically force or influence the rates to go down, so interest rates to go down, or will he just let Powell do his thing? So it will be very interesting. And what do I recommend? Well, you can pretty much sit on your hands until Monday. Tomorrow, I don't think much is going to happen, but on Monday, we should get some news. And then on Tuesday, we should get the markets to heat up some more. January hasn't been that bad. I mean, we had this massive movement on the pound and the US dollar, so it's not all bad. We just did not get any entries, and we're now being a little bit flat here. So being more patient. NJ was interesting. So the last live stream was last week on Thursday, and then on Monday, or on Monday/Tuesday, we had this pretty good uptrend, pretty strong uptrend on the New Zealand Japanese yen. It looked pretty promising in my personal opinion. We also had a good pattern in the prior price action, which is a descending channel, and a descending channel would be a bullish pattern. It was not the cleanest. Just a side note, what is a clean descending channel? A clean descending channel is when only the lows are being broken. Okay, only the lows. This one, you had some break of the highs, a little bit of a break of structure. Here, you had some strong bearish pressure, so that could be more of a downtrend instead of a descending. So yeah, not the cleanest formation, but still a descending channel in my personal opinion. And then you had this really nice push up, and that's pretty bullish. Really nice momentum, really nice push up. I was looking for a breakout to the upside with a big fat blue candle, something like this. Okay, a big fat blue candle, and I definitely would have gotten in on some buy setups if they fit my plan. So I was really looking for some buy setups. What happened next? Well, we broke the high and we printed a huge wick. Printed a really huge wick. That is a really big warning sign, and it is very problematic. Very problematic for us, to be honest. This huge wick, I don't want to see a huge wick like that. So that was not the best. What happened next? Well, we started being corrective, started being flat, and now we are moving down in a pretty corrective fashion. Not the best. So there was potential. There was definite potential on the New Zealand Japanese yen, but we just could not follow through. We could not get a high probability entry setup that actually fits the plan. So being more patient on NJ. That's about it for my 6 currency pairs. My summary is nothing is moving as I wanted to move. Nothing really fits the plan. I don't have anything on my close watch list. I'm being more patient. I'm waiting for next week. I'm waiting for the next week. I'm waiting for Trump. And then we shall see if the markets can heat up a little bit. A couple of other instruments that we can go through. Of course, S&P and the NASDAQ, we kind of already mentioned. I like to stick to the daily chart for these. Again, pausing right here, but overall, I'm really bullish. I'm really bullish both on the S&P and the NASDAQ. Super bullish. They're in a big uptrend. I don't see any big signs of slowing down. We have this trend line. We have the trend line that is just being respected. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 taps. That's pretty bullish in my personal opinion. It's Pepe. Gold, are we gonna keep pushing until all-time highs? Yeah, so the next one on my list is gold. Gold is, well, look, overall story is bullish in my personal opinion. So gold is looking very bullish. I'm going to stick to the daily chart, but we are pausing here a little bit. We are being a little bit flat. This is a nice leg, but it doesn't tell me much. If you want to take a look at some support and resistance, this is pretty much going to be your big resistance level that you need to break through. So yes, overall, I am bullish on gold. I do think all-time highs are in the cards, but I would be much more bullish if we could break out of these highs with a nice fat blue candle. Okay, if we can break out of these highs with a nice big blue candle, then that would be pretty high probability to look for some buy setups. Okay, then I would be pretty bullish on gold. Until that happens, I will remain a bit patient. So that would be my main concern. These highs. Silver, silver is, I don't like silver. It looks kind of dead. I know silver follows gold, like Ethereum or Ripple follow Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin goes up, altcoins follow Bitcoin. So when gold goes up, silver goes up as well, maybe with a bit of a, let's say, it doesn't follow gold immediately. It takes some time, a couple of days, a couple of weeks to actually follow gold. So there's a little bit of a lag behind silver following gold, but just the general story, it doesn't look as good as gold. Especially if I zoom out. Gold looks a lot better, a lot more bullish, in my opinion. So yeah, Bitcoin is back at 100K. It's pretty good. So yeah, Bitcoin is back at 100K. That's pretty good. We're hovering around that 100K mark. Pretty flat right now. We need to see what will happen with Trump, what will happen with his new policies. We need to see that. So you can clearly see the investors for Bitcoin are just on the sidelines. They're waiting. They're waiting this thing out. The FX preacher, between currencies and index, which one have you had more profit? So I trade only currencies. I trade only these 6 currencies. I never traded indices. I did backtest currencies a little bit, but it wasn't that good. The results weren't that great for my strategy, so I'm sticking to currencies, and that's basically it. That's my answer. I never live traded indices. I do know that Nico from Zentum Trading, he basically does have an investment in the S&P 500. So what you can do is you can trade currencies, but you can have an investment in the S&P 500, a long-term investment, like a couple of years, maybe even a couple of decades. And he has done pretty well with that, especially in 23 and 24. I mean, the S&P has just been crushing higher. So a great way to approach indices is to just buy and hold. Like if you bought in, I don't know, if you bought here at the beginning of 2023, so Jan 2023, you would pretty much be up. Let's see, Jan 2023, you would be up around 51%. That's massive. So that's absolutely huge. That's awesome. And look at this chart. It's pretty much trucking up, just exploding to the upside most of the time, right? So it's Pepe. I took buys at 2645. Back to gold. 2645. That's great. That's great. Holding for now. Yeah, sure, for sure. I mean, the 1 hour chart looks pretty healthy. I guess you bought somewhere around these levels. So the 1 hour chart does look really healthy. It looks really good. And what's your plan? Where do you plan on getting out? Do you use a trailing stop loss? How will you get out of the trade? Hope you have a trade plan for that. And you're not just going to blindly exit. So yeah, good entry and congrats on the trade. Very nice. So getting back to it, as I said, Bitcoin is pausing a little bit right here, and Ethereum is in the crapper. You could say it's not doing much, and it looks the same as, so Bitcoin and Ethereum are pretty much the same as gold and silver. So gold looks super bullish, silver looks like crap. Bitcoin looks overall bullish, and Ethereum looks like crap. It just looks so flat and corrective. That's kind of the story. DXY we covered. I'm super bullish. So the dollar index, I'm super bullish on the dollar index. I do expect this thing to go up more. Just to repeat myself, I do expect this thing to go a little bit more for a couple of weeks, maybe months. And then once Trump, if he puts some pressure on the Fed to start cutting rates, lowering rates, and he wants to keep the dollar down, if he manages to do that, this will happen. Okay. So this would be my general forecast for the next couple of months for the dollar index. All right. And the final one is going to be US oil, which is just exploding to the upside. Very, very bullish lately. This is not the story that I've been seeing in the last couple of weeks. Like most of the time when I looked at oil, we were like this. We were super flat and corrective. This looks good. Let me actually zoom in on the 1 hour. Yeah, the 1 hour is pretty healthy. Like there's a flag here that I would take if I traded US oil. Cool flag there, pretty clean flag. This is a nice push up as well. So US oil is finally making some movement, finally moving somewhere, which is pretty good. It's pretty good to see some trends in the markets. That is all I care for. I want trends. I want the markets to move up, move down. I don't care which way. I don't want them to be flat. If they're flat, if there's no volatility, I cannot make any money. I cannot make any percentage. So this is bad and this is good. Okay. Another example I can give you is this is not the best, but this large drop, massive sell-off, that's pretty good. The massive sell-off is pretty good. That is exactly what I want to see. Okay, and that kind of wraps things up for today's live stream. Now for the next week, I will have to see if I will have the stream. So currently the markets are pretty flat. If this continues, if this sort of price action continues, I really don't want to be making a live stream because then there's nothing much for me to talk about. So I'm just sitting here and staring at the screens for no reason. But if we get some movement, if we get some volatility, if Trump comes in and puts a lot of policies in, then I will make a live stream for sure. Okay, now if you want to stay up to date, if you want to know when exactly I will live stream, you should follow me on Instagram because I post all of the updates there. My Instagram is, let me check actually. You can follow me at Marcos Trading Journey. So that's the handle. I'll put it in the comments. Marcos Trading. Yeah, so it's in the comments now. That is my Instagram handle. And all of the updates for the live streams and just in general, any updates for the channel go on my Instagram stories. So yeah, next week I'll have to see if I'll have the live stream. It all depends if the markets will be active or if they will be super quiet like they have been lately. Maybe like this week has been pretty quiet. So hope you guys enjoyed. If there's no further questions, we will wrap up this stream. Good luck in the markets. If you want to learn to trade, obviously, go and check out Zentum Trading. Go join our free Discord. It's absolutely free. You just have to put in your email, click join, and you will be accepted. So definitely, highly recommend you check out zentumtrading.com. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. FX Preacher, thank you very much for the feedback. Yeah, see you.